Most requested Greek dish is this avrolemo soup. Cook your chicken thighs in some water covered for 15 minutes, taking care to remove the white foam from the pot and season. Slice into bite-sized pieces and return to the pot along with some orzo pasta. Cook for 25 minutes and then remove from heat. Next, whisk together 2 eggs with your lemon juice. Whisk in some chicken broth from the pot to that mixture to temper it. Now you can stir in the lemony good stuff into the soup until it's silky.
Sweet corn soup. I'm making it for my friends and family who still have COVID. So
start by cutting the corn on a small bowl inside of a big bowl to catch everything.
I want these to go into the pot with the chicken.
Into the stock pot, you put in your chicken and some aromats including spring onions, ginger and garlic. Now the sauce for the seasoning is sesame oil, Shaoxing wine and soy sauce. Let the chicken cook for an hour, then cool and shred. Chicken is off the bone, so now use 2 forks to shred it and place it into the soup.
Along with our corn and our cream corn.
Bulk this up using some macaroni or a pasta of your choice and then add in your sauces as well. While the soup is simmering, beat some eggs, add in a thin stream and stir.
Ladle some into a bowl.
Top with some white pepper, a couple drops of sesame oil and spring onions and coriander.
There is my chicken and sweet corn soup. Enjoy. So yum. Hot. Yum.
Recipes. Soy sauce, black vinegar, a pinch of sugar, white pepper, mix together. Add in vegetable stock, sliced carrots, shiitake mushroom, bamboo. Let simmer for 3 to 4 minutes. Gently add in the tofu. Let simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes. Add in the sauce, 2 eggs. Add in salt, white pepper, mix together. Cornstarch and water mixture, egg mixture. Let it set for around 30 seconds. Mix everything up together.
Make my all-time favorite soup from culinary school. First, saute onions, carrot, and fennel with a good pinch of salt. Then add in lentils, bay leaf, cinnamon stick, and veggie broth. Bring this up to a boil, then let it simmer until the lentils are soft, about 20 minutes. Blend about 2 cups of this mixture until smooth, and then add it back into your soup. You'll get this creamy, healthy bowl of lentil soup that is so yummy.
So tonight for dinner, I'm going to be making some wonton soup using these frozen mini wontons. Okay, I've added about a tablespoon or 2 of sesame oil and now about a tablespoon of garlic. Next, I'm adding 2 large carrots and an onion. Then I'm adding 1 8-ounce package of mushrooms and a bundle of bok choy. Okay, saute your vegetables for about 5 minutes until they're softened like this. Add a little bit of pepper, maybe about a teaspoon. Next, I'm going to add 2 32 ounces of chicken broth. This one's bone broth, but you can add whatever broth you want, beef broth, low sodium, whatever. Once you've added your broth, bring that to a boil. Okay, once it's to a boil, add your wontons or dumplings. I normally add about 16 when I have the regular size ones, but these are minis, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. They do expand, so be careful. And then let those cook for about 10 minutes. All right, now it's done. Normally I top it off with some green onions, but I forgot those at the grocery store. So top it with green onions.
Chance to try my tomato feta soup. This is your sign. Warm up part water, part broth, olive oil, and quartered tomatoes. Season with your soul. Cover and cook for 5 minutes. Next, add in your small pasta and cook for 20 minutes or until it's donezo. Mix in your feta cheese and
easy butternut squash soup. And the bowl was pretty, I promise y'all, but I got kind of hungry. Let's go. Okay, so I bought a 4-pound butternut squash. I'm gonna go ahead and take the seeds out and scrape all that stringy stuff out. A spoon works really well for this part. I'm gonna coat both halves of the squash and 3 clean carrots in some olive oil. So I put the squash skin side up on a sheet pan with the carrots. I let them bake at 400 for about 35-40 minutes. We're gonna set them aside and let them cool. I'm gonna dice up a whole yellow onion and mince up 6 cloves of garlic. I got my trusty little soup pot. I'm gonna go ahead and melt 4 tablespoons of butter. So the butter melted, I tossed in those onions. I'm gonna put in some rosemary
celery and some thyme. Season with some red pepper flakes, some garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, and some slappy mama. After about 15 minutes, when those onions are soft, toss in that garlic and saute for just a couple more minutes. So we've got the onions and garlic kind of pushed off to the side. We're gonna go ahead and slice up those soft carrots. Go ahead and peel the skin off of that squash. It should come off fairly easily. Once you get it all peeled, go ahead and kind of slice it up. Now back to our soup pot, we're gonna pour in 32 ounces of vegetable broth. All right, once it starts to kind of simmer, you're gonna go ahead and take all of those herbs out. Then you're gonna add in your carrots and then add that squash in there too. Now I like to use my immersion blender for this part, but you can take it out and dump it in a regular blender or a food processor if that's what you want. And that's it, you just blend it till you get it where you want it. I like mine mostly smooth with a little bit of texture. I like to pour just a little bit of heavy cream into mine. So I like my soup with just a little bit of crunch, so I add roasted pumpkin seeds and crispy sage. Now, I don't need y'all coming on here being couillon about me eating some soup in July. If you don't like it, find something else to eat.
I have been MIA recovering from Omicron, and this is the soup I've been living off of. I sauteed some carrots, celery, onion, and garlic for a few minutes, then added in my broth, chicken legs, seasonings, and water, covered it up and cooked for 1 hour, then shredded my meat and tossed it.
Don't have to soak them, but you do have to clean them. Look like little coins. Olive oil, a lot. Fresh red pepper, onions, salt and pepper, Italian seasoning, tomatoes, carrots, garlic. Let it get juicy. Tomato paste, 2 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon of chicken base for every cup of water. Add them. Little coins. Add your water. Bay leaves. Bring to a boil, then lower to a simmer. 2 hours. Add water as needed. A little bit of olive oil, pecorino.
Lasagna, but don't want to go through the extended process? I got you with this one. Heat oil in a pot and cook your onion and garlic. Add the sausage and break up the meat until cooked and no longer pink. Add some broth, crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, sugar, and seasonings. Bring to a simmer, cover, and cook for 10 minutes. Add the broken up lasagna noodles and cook another 10 minutes. Lastly, let's make it velvety and smooth. Stir in some heavy cream. In a bowl, mix ricotta, parmesan, mozzarella, and fresh basil. Scoop it onto the soup and enjoy the warmth.
Bread balls in it to make it special. So stay tuned. Add some water, bring to a boil, and drop it low and let it simmer. Been going about an hour. Just like that. Chop up the chicken, keep the broth. 1 large onion, celery, or carrots peeled and chopped. Add lots of salt, pepper, and thyme. Garlic cloves. Let's cube this up just like that. Chopped parsley, pecorino romano, 1 egg, minced garlic, salt and pepper. Now we're gonna form it into little balls. Add some of this, like better than bouillon. Chicken is all shredded up, add it back in. My chicken stock, add it all in. Brought it to a boil, simmer, 15-20 minutes. You can serve just like this, or you can add the bread balls in. Cook on low for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, it is perfect.
Come in today, it's got me thinking about a soup we make sometime. It's called a kitchen sink soup. Let's get started. We'll start with 3 pounds of ground sirloin. I got a tablespoon of black pepper, a half a tablespoon of basil, and a little bit of thyme and a little bit of rosemary. Now I got the Texas Trinity. 1 onion, 1 fresh jalapeno, and about 4 cloves of fresh garlic. I got the meat cooked through. This is 4 cups of chopped up potatoes. 14.5 ounce can of diced basil, garlic, and oregano tomatoes. 6 ounces of tomato paste. 64 ounces of chicken broth. 1 ounce packet of ranch salad dressing seasoning. Stir it all in good and we're gonna bring it up to a simmer. I've had it simmering about 15 minutes to soften the potatoes up a little bit. We'll add 15 ounces of whole kernel corn, 15 ounces fresh cut green beans, 15 ounces of fresh cut sliced carrots, half a tablespoon of garlic salt, 2 cups of rotini pasta. We're gonna stir it in, put the lid on it, let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. Here it is. That's what it ought to look like. See what it tastes like. You know we're going to put some Zippy Zap on it though. Had a lot of questions about the Zippy Zap. It's a cayenne-based sauce blended with other seasonings. See what this stuff tastes like. So, sink soup. About down to my last fresh habaneros. Right on time. That link's on my bio page.
I ever made. Woo! Cut a head of broccoli up into little pieces. Half stick of butter, chopped onion, some Tony's, black pepper, a little cayenne, and salt. chopped garlic, add it. Flour, stir continuously for 2 minutes. Chicken stock, bring it to a boil and whisk. Add your broccoli, lower to a simmer, cover, and let it cook for 10 minutes. Sharp cheddar, shred it. A little Munster, shred it. Once the broccoli is nice and tender, 2 cups of half and half. Let this simmer together for just a couple minutes. Turn the heat off. Munster, cheddar cheese, pecorino romano. Perfect. Freshly shredded cheddar.
All of this. Ready to put me in a food coma. It was that good. Tomato soup. Got 15 tomatoes. Cut them in half. Remove the cores. Ripen the tomatoes. Better the soup's going to be. Get them on a baking dish and cover in salt, pepper, olive oil, balsamic vinegar. 4 bulb of garlic in the middle. You can add a bit of thyme. You can add a bit of rosemary. Whatever floats your boat. Get into the oven half an hour. Medium heat pan. I've added 1 onion, 1 grated carrot, 1 stick of celery. Let it sweat down for about 5 minutes. When your tomatoes are done, squeeze out those garlic cloves. Just mash them up with the back of a fork. Get these into your pots. Let go for another couple of minutes. I've added a generous amount of salt and pepper in there. Then stir in some tomato puree. Add your tomatoes in at this point. Break them up with the back of a spoon. Handful of basil. Cover the whole lot in chicken stock. I'm going to let this simmer on a really low heat. 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, it's going to look something like this. Blend it to a consistency you like. A lot more quite thick and chunky. If you've got one of them stick blenders, great. And just look at that. You know it's going to give you heartburn, but you know it's going to be worthy. A little bit of cream if you're feeling fancy. Some black pepper and some basil. Serve some crusty bread. Bon appetit.
They've been sitting here overnight. Drain them and rinse them in cold water. Chop up the salt pork, bay leaf, northern beans. Add your water just to cover the beans. Bring to a boil, then you're gonna lower and simmer. Cook for at least 2 hours. Cover it. And now we're gonna make our sauce. Olive oil, onions, garlic, lots of olive oil, salt and pepper. Italian seasoning, crushed red pepper, San Marzano tomatoes. Crush them. Tomato paste, brown it up. Crushed tomatoes, Romano, hunk. Goes in. Comes the fun part. Marry it to the party. Boom. Simmer 15 minutes. What do I do with my diddlini? Where's my diddlini? Diddlini. Lots of sauce. Glorious. Pecorino all over. The best you'll ever have.
Creamy chicken noodle soup. This is like eating a bowl of coziness and comfort. In a large pot, add 6 bone-in chicken thighs and 64 ounces of chicken broth. Bring to a boil, then turn the heat down to medium-low and cook covered for 1 hour. Then remove the chicken and add 1 large onion, 2 cups of chopped celery, 2 cups of sliced carrots, 3 cups of diced red potatoes, 5 cloves of minced garlic, chicken bouillon to taste, and your chicken thighs that have been deboned and shredded. Cook covered for about 10 more minutes or until the potatoes are fork tender, then add 2 cups of dry noodles, 1 cup of heavy cream, then fresh thyme, rosemary, and curly leaf parsley, and cook until the noodles are al dente. Follow along for more recipes and enjoy!